Hello and welcome to this fatal four-way race in round 2 of the SMRAT Swiss. The SMRAT stands for Super Metroid Randomizer Accessible Tournament. This is a randomizer tournament that, as the name implies, is designed to be accessible to players of as many skill levels as we can have while still having a good competition format. So within this preset, only basic tricks intended with the wall jump and shine spark are in logic, along with infinite bomb jump. Today we have a really interesting race between four runners. The two matches within here are LomionJones versus Shadow42085 and ironrusty versus jooniejoone.
The galaxy
This
is at
is a really exciting race. Shadow42085, I believe, a bit of a newcomer. I know the other three, jooniejoone, has been around for a while, very skilled. And I've seen both LomionJones and ironrusty really putting in the work recently as sort of newcomers to the scene that have constantly been in the discords, asking questions, streaming, and just overall improving. So I think we're going to have a really exciting race ahead of us. Now, the SMRAT logic is a full randomizer. So what that means is every item in the game will be shuffled with every other item in the game. However, there are certain aspects of logic, as mentioned before. So an item cannot be somewhere that you wouldn't be able to access it within the SMRAT tournament logic. The first example of that we will be seeing is that Morph will always be at its vanilla location. Within Varia, the early Morph setting means that it can only ever be at vanilla Morph or at the ceiling deboost. And as ceiling tank deboost is not within logic, Morph can't be there. However, I think we can expect all of our runners today to go for stuff such as the ceiling tank deboost, possibly Billy Mays, and other Retro Brinstar powerbomb checks should we find powerbombs. But we will have to see once the race gets started. And at this point, it looks like all of our runners are all set and ready. We are just waiting to hit 10 p.m. EST to get underway at our designated start time. And while we're waiting, be sure to follow all of the runners. You should see their Twitch usernames scrolling on the screen. LomionJones, Shadow42085, ironrusty, and jooniejoone. Be sure to follow Redemption on tracking, on restreaming, and Music75 on tracking. And I'm Glove They Them, and I'll be doing commentary today. All right, and it is 10 o'clock now. Hopefully, we should be starting in just a little bit here. Any early predictions in chat? What will be the first major item we find besides Morph? I'm gonna go out on a limb and I'm gonna say that we are going to find bombs before we hit Bomb Torizo, and we're actually gonna see a little visit from our friend BT today. And with that, it looks like everyone has readied up. So as soon as we get the countdown, we'll be starting out this race. All right, looks like we're having a little bit of technical difficulties capturing somebody's feed. Hopefully we'll get underway shortly. And good luck to all of our runners today. I am absolutely hoping to see 4 finishes. I always love when all of our runners are able to finish out the race. Yeah, chat saying this is not the 10-way I was hoping for. Unfortunately, you did miss the 10-way by a couple of hours. However, this 4-way race should still be really exciting. And I think we are going to see a really neat race, hopefully. And once this race is completed, I believe the next SMRAT race on the docket will be Benergetic versus Nidorific at 10 a.m. EST tomorrow. That's going to be a really good race. You need to tune in for that one. Yeah, absolutely. A ton of good races, and if you miss anything, you should be able to find the VODs right here on Speedrunners Arena. Be sure to follow the channel to receive alerts about any upcoming races that we'll have. Be sure to follow Speedrunners Arena 2 as well. And in the event of a bunch going on at the same time, we might even be streaming stuff on Speedrunners Arena 3. So be sure to follow all three of those channels to keep up with all the smart content we can possibly deliver to you. Yeah, if you're receiving any issues with buffering on Twitch, it might help to try and refresh the window. Sometimes that'll work. All right, and as we're trying to sort out our technical difficulties, looks like we got Cheese Reaver on the case. We have a new prediction going. So you can bet with your channel points, which suit do you think will be found first in today's seed? All right, it looks like we have a pretty reasonable split. It keeps going back and forth between Varia and Gravity. I myself dropped 10k towards Varia. Yeah. And hopefully, if we do find an early suit, that's really going to define how the run goes. If we find an early Varia, then it's quite likely that our runners will just attempt to beat the game from top to bottom, ideally aiming for a Kraid followed by Ridley, then Dragon Fantoon order, or KRDP. However, if they are unable to find Gravity Suit before Meridia, they would obviously then have to go to Rex Ship. Hopefully not then have to make a couple of errant checks. Although I think we all know that Gravity likes to hang out in Criteria Supers. If we find Gravity first, then basically the whole game besides Norfair is opened up, and it'll be very hard logic to figure out, and we can see people going in various different directions. So an early Gravity could perhaps be a bit of a balancer in terms of being more ideal to allow gambles for people who feel they might be behind in the matchup, or might not favor their chances in a jet seed. Yeah. It is possible we could see a meme route from any of our players if they find early power bombs. However, I I think Junie might like the meme route. I think most people, myself included, tend to think it's not very good in SMRAT, unfortunately. I think there are certain major minor splits where meme route is really good and maybe doesn't deserve its name. But for SMRAT specifically, skipping all of those checks up top is just not necessarily ideal. And meme route dovetails really nicely into an early wrecked ship. And a lot of players would really prefer to not go early wrecked ship in SMRAT if they can at all avoid it. Wrecked ship has a lot of very slow, very spaced out checks, unfortunately. Which is why we've seen a lot of players throughout this race just completely skip top of wrecked ship entirely, even when they don't have the items they need to complete the game. And I think we've seen some people get really rewarded for it, and some people get really burned for it. I am a personal believer that the top of wrecked ship is a pretty nice place to be, and uh, it's a pretty scary risk to take. Looks like everything is close to getting fixed. It looks like we have 4 game feeds, so that's a pretty nice place to start. So we are about to have our races underway. Our seed for today is Tom Covern Namihe Atomic. Yeah, Shadow's feed is technically working. I think, we'll have a really nice Samus cam. Or background cam, as it were. So yeah, hopefully we should be getting underway shortly. So once again, apologies for the delay, and a huge shout out to Redemption for working through these technical issues to bring you this 4-player race. Yeah, drop those hearts in the chat. This is not an easy position for tech to be in. All right, looks like the race is about to get started. Yep, good luck to all of our runners. And may the drops be friendly. May the item locations at the very least provide for an interesting seed. All right, and we see our first 2 runners, a little bit of delay in the feeds, but we see just about all of our runners now going for a trick known as Moonfall, which causes Samus's acceleration to become uncapped under certain conditions, allows her to continually accelerate through that climb room. Alright, first item of the race, power bombs. This opens up a lot of possibilities. Should Junie or any of our other runners decide to take it, meme route is now on the table. Um, Many other checks are as well. So I think if we see anyone opt for that Billy Mays room, then that's a pretty distinct sign they're not going for meme route. So chat asking if the prediction is based on the first suit found or the first suit in Logic. It will be the first player to find a suit. Or rather, the first suit that is found by a player. So it's possible, depending on route deviations, that the first suit isn't the same for all player, but the first time we see a suit on our feed, that will be the suit that gets put into the prediction. Alright, we get high jump boots. High jump boots is kind of ugly to find in Retro Brinstar, not gonna lie. It makes the climb really awkward. However, high jump boots are a very nice item to have in the game. As a friend of mine likes to say, high jump boots are like space jump, but just better. And they will allow our runners, although not technically in Logic, to have a way to get through the worst room in the game, which is one of the major hurdles we have. You can technically get through the worst room in the game without any sort of movement item, however, it is a very tight, frame-perfect, pixel-perfect wall jump. Yep. So now our runners leaving Retro Brinstar will have all three ammo types, so we're not going to see anything gated behind supers or power bombs. So chat asking what Iron Rusty needs to do to beat Junie. Um, in this race, genuinely, I think Iron Rusty just has to go for a gamble and hope it pays off. The general sentiment in that regard is it's better to skip checks than to make extra checks you might not normally. Uh, However, both strategies have certain merits. But yeah, it can be something as simple as just choosing which way to go down Red Tower. I think there are many seeds where going down or up Red Tower, both ways are justifiable. Yeah, chat asking who's ahead. It's a bit too early to say. We do have some issues with differences in stream lag. So even though the top two players, LomionJones and Shadow, might look a bit behind, their timers are as well. Really, up until there's any route deviation or sort of significant speed strats used, I don't think it's necessarily very useful to look at who's ahead. Okay. All right. Well, I got my payout. We find Varia suit. Very nice. In Logic as well. So I think that we can expect our players. Hopefully, we'll see a 230 check from all of our players. It's a very common check to make within the SMRAT Logic. However, it is a very slow check. So some people might want to skip it. However, at the very least, Iron Rusty and jooniejoone have both found their Varias. Now, the ship from Junie here is interesting. Could hint towards a possible gauntlet.
Wrong at 230.
Yeah, looks like he's going for that gauntlet. The gauntlet high jump is a little bit weird. I think it's easier than high jumpless, but you'll most likely encounter high jumpless gauntlet wall jump more often within randomizer. Junie taking it down, no problem. But yeah, so this is a really interesting play. From this, Junie will only know one more item location compared to Iron Rusty, as we see Rusty just checked back of Gauntlet using up one of his power bombs. Oh no, it looks like Shadow did not check 230 missiles. That really hurts.
Okay.
That's really unfortunate. Yeah, Shadow did check Billy Mays. That's I believe that's where high jump is. However, Vario was at 230 missiles.
I'll pick up more later. Yeah, I'll abandon it. I'll find more later.
Yeah. All right, and Lomion finishing out his gauntlet right now. And unfortunately, nothing super exciting in Gauntlet. The E-Tank Soups will make it a bit more comfy going through, but that's certainly not what you want to be finding with Gauntlet. Now this is an interesting play from Iron Rusty. Not checking Edacoons. This is one of those gambles that we've talked about. Edacoons having 3 checks takes a bit to do. I don't know it's necessarily the gamble that would be most ideal to make, but it's possible Iron Rusty feels like he needs to do everything he can to get ahead of Junie, and just hope for the god luck. Yep, and Shadow just finishing up is his Edacoons. I don't believe we saw anything of significant value in there. So that will pan out for Iron Rusty. And we do see all of our runners right now in various stages of making the different Brinstar checks, all of them having skipped or checked different things. However, there are going to be many equalizers throughout the run. Iron Rusty finds Space Jump. That's a really nice item to have. Makes Lower Norfair significantly more cozy. With just a couple extra E-tanks, that should put wrecked ship in logic as well, so it's possible that that's weighing on Iron Rusty's mind right now. Yep. And Iron Rusty performing a trick known as the Green Gate Glitch, the reverse Green Gate Glitch, in which when you fire a super missile with just the correct placement, on one frame it will be to the left of the gate, and the next frame it will be far enough into the gate that it will explode and hit that blue switch, opening the gate. Yes, it was Varia that was seen first. Varia was at 230 missiles. And I got a nice payout of 24,550 channel points. Alright, and Iron Rusty is currently in the lead. Looks like he is going up wrecked ship. I think this is another one of those gambles we're talking about. Obviously, in most seeds, you're going to be inclined to, after seeing that Varia go down to Norfair. However, the wrecked ship gamble is always a play. And any useful items we find at the beginning of wrecked ship or in these first couple alpha and beta powerbomb checks can really help someone out. Alright, so far just ammo. Yeah, Iron Rusty does also have to be cognizant of his health going into Fantoon. I know that Rusty runs multiple categories vanilla, so I'm not sure how comfortable he is with Fantoon, but he does have the equivalent of 3 E-tanks, which can be a bit tight. Yep. And we see Shadow has also opted for the red tower, going up the red tower. This play makes even more sense for him, perhaps as he has not found that Varia suit yet. However, wrecked ship will not be in logic without any suits up until you have, I believe, 12 E-tanks. Whereas I believe it is 6 for Varia and 3 for Gravity. Now, Iron Rusty checking criteria power bombs here. This is interesting. I think of any time that you would want to check it right now, either before or after wrecked ship is ideal. Before wrecked ship being a little bit better because it's faster than clearing all of top of wrecked ship. However, I do wonder if Iron Rusty is getting a little bit too invested in the idea that he has to make a bunch of gambles and it'll eventually come back to hurt him. Going for criteria power bombs, but skipping all 3 Etakun's locations. Hopefully Iron Rusty isn't trying to just make all of the checks that Joonie wouldn't. Does find Spazer. That will help out with clearing out the flames at Fantoon. It makes the fight just a little bit comfier. One of the sky locations is just a super pack. So chat asking why having space jump by itself does not open up wrecked ship. That is because there is a certain energy requirement to fight Fantoon, because this is designed to be accessible logic. It's designed to replicate conditions somewhat close to what you might expect in the actual game. So to fight Fantoon without any suits whatsoever, you'll need a whopping 12 E-tanks compared to only 6 for Varia. Oh, did Joonie skip Spazer? We love to see it. Worst item in the game. Yeah, meanwhile, Lomion is making the crate play now. Interestingly, our only runner to go down. I'll admit, I'm kind of surprised that Varia makes going down Red Tower really enticing. Alright, Iron Rusty in his Fantoon fight right now. Going for a bit of a Doppler strat, doesn't quite have the timing down, as Lomion pulls off a very nice crate quick kill. That was a really nice Doppler, wow. Unfortunately ran out of missiles. Lomion finding ice behind Kraid immediately turns it off. With only having Ice Beam, some of the earlier enemies in the game can take an extra hit to kill with that, so maybe Lomion doesn't want to mess around with that. Iron Rusty, I believe that was a 3-cycle. A very nice fight from him as Joonie enters his own Fantoon fight. Alright, yeah, Joonie's struggling a little bit with Fantoon. Fantoon can be a little bit of a big meanie. And at this point, unless Iron Rusty finds gravity right now, it's looking like it might not be so hot for the pre-20 minutes predictors. Finds X-Ray, a very nice item to have. jooniejoone finishes out his Fantoon. X-Ray, fringe case item by itself. However, when combined with Charge and Plasma, speed booster on Lomion's screen, when combined with X-Ray, when combined with Charge and Plasma, can perform a trick known as microwaving, which allows you to take down certain bosses very quickly. So speed is really interesting here. I wonder if this will lead LomionJones to check Bubble Mountain missiles, as that is now in logic. Or wait, he has Varia, all the Bubble Mountains in logic. Yeah, so that speed play, well, after receiving speed, I think Lomion is looking really good, honestly. I think if he finds... I think if he doesn't find anything else in Norfair, it'll still be pretty nice. Iron Rusty, committing my cardinal sin, I am once again begging all emulator users to please map a button to reset. By default on SNES 9X, it's Control-Shift-R. And X-Ray has Wave Beam. Wave Beam does put some locations in logic. And of course, the will we find charge prediction perhaps a bit ill-timed. So a couple people are going to make a couple channel points, I guess, with those odds. Yeah, it did look like Rusty's using OSX, but you should definitely still be able to map a button or button combination to reset. Alright, and Lomion paying a visit to our friend Croc. This is interesting. Some people prefer to always bet Croc. He does have a fair collection of items. However, it's pretty slow, especially without plasma charge. Alright, and we're about to see Sky Missiles from Iron Rusty, just an E-Tank. Oh, almost missed it. Definitely wants that E-Tank, though. Now, all of our runners except Lomion are going to be picking up ammo for a long time. Lomion definitely still wants to pick up any supers, as Charge Ice is a very slow way to complete the Mother Brain fight. Yes, I believe Junie did skip bowling. I didn't see how far into Wrecked Ship he got. Meanwhile, Iron Rusty, obviously not skipping bowling, so if one of the three... So if either Varia, or excuse me, if either Gravity Location or the Missile Pack down here has something, that could be huge in this race. Unfortunately, doesn't have the speed to check Wrecked Ship Reserve, so if Gravity is specifically at Wrecked Ship Reserve, that will be a little bit frustrating for our runners today. Alright, and this time we have another prediction. Will we see at least one successful baby skip? 99-1 right now. A lot of people really want to see the baby skip from one of our runners. Yep, so, Junie, unfortunately, not looking so hot with the bowling skip. It's very in. It's very in vogue to do bowling alley or entire top of wrecked ship skip. I've seen it burn so many people throughout these races. And it looks like Shadow is heading down to Norfair right now after killing Kraid. Sadly, is not going to find the Varia that he needs down there. So Iron Rusty has solidified himself a bit of a lead now. And I think that here is where we can see that trying to get ahead through gambles is a combination of skipping checks that are slow and are unlikely to hold something, and making checks that your opponent might not. Yep, Iron Rusty getting his wave beam right now. As Shadow finds his speed booster, I'm curious if he will make the bubble missile check. I didn't quite catch on Lomion's screen what is there. Alright, and a nice crate quick kill from jooniejoone. Gets his ice beam as a reward. It should be noted, Junie needs grapple or spring ball, and at that point, he can do Suitless Meridia. Obviously, that is very slow. However, I am biased towards a Suitless Meridia. I think it's one of the more fun things to do in the game. Oh, and Plasma at Speed Missile. Now, I'm trying to remember where X-Ray was. I believe it was Wreck Ship Right Supers or something. Ice was behind Kraid. Ooh. Okay, Shadow, please be careful. Shadow, hopefully on his way to find his Varia suit right now. He has a lot of catching up to do. Performs a Crystal Flash. Very nice. Very safe play. I like that. So what does Junie need to have a chance? Junie needs to be really good at movement and Suitless Meridia, or he needs to go back to Wreck Ship. So yeah, Spring Ball or Grapple somewhere. That is an ideal location. Yeah, as soon as Rusty finds his charge beam, I would expect a go mode from him. Alright, Shadow is about to find his ill-fated Varia suit. Hopefully he'll still be able to finish out the race, though. And we see Lomion here going for a lava dive. Should be pretty easy with that much health and high jump boots. And he makes it, no sweat, very nice. Yes, Junie knows how to do a suitless Meridia. I believe that Junie has even done the weird gravity jump out of Precious Room. I believe the video of him doing it is the video linked on the Varia tricks page. Yeah, Rusty needs ammo or charge. Remind me, where was charge? Charge is at ice. Okay, and Lomion did skip that. No, Knucklehead. The gravity jump out of Precious Room is a trick that basically involves, I guess, going through the door at the right frame, because the Precious Room does not have water at that point, and Coliseum does. Yeah. So you're like emulating what you would be doing with a gravity suit gravity jump. It's a very advanced trick. You will almost exclusively see it in Plandos and the hardest difficulty settings on Varia. Yeah, Junie now has all of the beams, so that will be nice for him. Overall, Junie has a really cozy loadout. He just unfortunately doesn't have that gravity suit that's lying at the top of wrecked ship. Yeah, Lomion needs to be careful with Lower Norfair here. Has Ice Plasma, which will help, unfortunately doesn't have Screw Attack or anything like that that make it easier. Meanwhile, Iron Rusty having a pretty cozy loadout, all things considered, for Lower Norfair. Still needs to be careful though. Yeah, Lomion smartly not going for the Kago through the spike platform. Yep, Shadow fighting Phantoon right now. Also going for a Doppler strat. Got either 3 or 4 in on that first phase, I think. Yeah, Rusty taking the save. Alright, very nice Phantoon fight from Shadow. I really like the save for Rusty here. It's a little bit dangerous for him with this amount of health, and I'm not sure how practiced he is. at stuff like Super Missile Ridley. Yeah, so the location of Spring Ball and Grapple are going to be really important for Junie here. You really don't want to go back into Wrecked Ship. I believe Grapple and Spring Ball can be just about anywhere in Logic with the seed we've had and stuff like the early space jump. Alright, Lomion entering his Ridley fight. Iron Rusty playing it a little bit safer, lagging behind. Obviously, Rusty has gone up and cleared Wrecked Ship and received his gravity suit, so certainly going to be ahead in that regard. Alright, and a very nice fight from Lomion. Alright, a little bit of grinding from Rusty here. It's always nice to have a couple safety supers. Alright, and Shadow safely makes it through Spiky Death Room. Very nice. That room can be an absolute run killer. Alright, Rusty working on his Ridley fight right now. Good start so far. Doesn't get a second right side pogo, unfortunately, and didn't decide to go for the manipulation for it anyway. With high jump and high jump and space jump, should be a relatively easy fight. Just trying to get Ridley to pick him up now. Ridley can be a bit mean sometimes, and that's the fight. Very nice. Yep, Junie entering his Ridley. Yeah, I mean, I think we're seeing an absolutely impressive display of movement here from Junie. Like, if he loses this race, it's all going to be because of that Wrecked Ship bowling alley skip. Ooh, and Lomion taking some really high damage strats through 3 Musketeers. That's a bit scary. Iron Rusty cannot make those same strats. Finds that E-Tank and PBs of Shame though, that helps a lot. Yeah, so Junie at this point quite possibly be feeling pretty behind. Uh, really, the two possibilities here, uh, from Junie's perspective, are that gravity was top of wrecked ship, or that it's in some really weird location, like Criteria Supers or something. Alright, Rusty is still looking for ammo to beat the game at this point. Hopefully he makes the ice check on the way out and finds his charge beam. That's go mode for him. Yeah, Lomian taking very a very good energy refill there. Going to enter X-ray and I believe find his wave beam there. Now, unless I am mistaken regarding tournament rules, then I believe Junie will be able to use X-ray climb strats through Meridia. Although I'm not sure, I know that's a bit contentious. Alright, and Junie going to Croc now. Very fast Croc with that full beam. Yeah, with all the checks that Iron Rusty is making here, it seems decently likely he's going to find his charge beam. And then we just see a quick dip in the swimming pool to kill Dragon, and hopefully after that, fast hurrying and a dot done. Yeah, that is true. Ice is a really slow check to make, unfortunately. Yeah, I don't think Iron Rusty checked Norfair Reserve. And if he didn't check Norfair Reserve, he almost certainly will not check Ice. Oh, Junie almost gets the cool mock ball. Yeah, meanwhile, Lomian is making his way up to wrecked ship right now. Hopefully will do a full clear of wrecked ship and find his own gravity suit. Meanwhile, Shadow has Kraid, Kraid and Fantoon down, and will be making his way to Ridley.
Iron Rusty, performing a nice short charge, unfortunately only gets a power bomb for it. Yeah, and Junie very quickly approaching the point where he's going to have to start making some ugly checks. Yeah. And hopefully Junie will commit to will either decide to go back to wrecked ship or commit to suitless Meridia soon, as he is running out of time to do anything or to have a chance of competing with Iron Rusty's very nice time. About to take down his final boss less than 50 minutes into it. Alright, Lomion has a really comfy Fantoon fight here. With full beam should be able to very easily get a 2-round. Alright, and I believe there Rusty checked the Meridia missile pack that's there, but not Watering Hole. Oh, very nice. Very nice hitbox manipulation from Iron Rusty there to skip the peeps. Alright, Junie's gonna find his gravity. Unfortunately, it looks like it could be too little too late for Junie. Does have that charge beam advantage over Iron Rusty, which could end up being a significant difference maker in this race. Alright, and Rusty takes Botswoon down. Now he just has Dragon left before he has to go to Turian. Yeah, pretty much Junie's only hope at this point is that Rusty still needs, I believe at least one more super pack. Oh, was it a super pack at Botswoon? I didn't quite catch it. This Dragon fight could get ugly though. Iron Rusty doesn't have charge, grapple, or much ammo at all. He's gonna have to farm drops. Alright. Alright, at this point, Iron Rusty can only use Shine Sparks and Goo. And it doesn't look like he's going for any Shine Sparks, unfortunately. Up gets one off. Very nice blue suit. Loses the blue suit immediately, unfortunately. Okay, so with that super missile pack, in addition to Botwoon supers, I think at that point Iron Rusty go modes. Which is very unfortunate for Junie. Yeah, meanwhile, up on the top, we have Lomion, soon to find his own gravity suit, also just has Dragon to take out. And Shadow working his way through Lower Norfair right now, and we'll just have to take a quick dip to kill Dragon on the way out. So Iron Rusty's certainly in the lead, but I think we could have a very contentious race for second, third, and fourth, depending on how things shake out. All in all, for the number of different decisions that have been made in today's race, the fact that it's been so close is really impressive. Yeah, no, Lomion, once he finds gravity, he's go mode. Kills Dragon quickly, then goes to Turian. With that charge, I don't think we should expect to see him make any additional checks. Yep, Lomion gets the final gravity suit of the match. Just in a really ugly location, unfortunately. What a seed. Oh, and a nice little moonfall from Lomion. Yep. jooniejoone takes down Botwoon super quickly. Is going to have a really fast Dragon fight as well with that microwave. And only gets halfy, unfortunately. Now this is interesting. Iron Rusty, making the gauntlet check on the way, wants to be just a little bit more comfortable as he goes into Turian, maybe even hoping to find Charge Beam. Picks up the reserve tank. I wonder if that was pure muscle memory. Alright, very nice Dragon fight from Junie. Junie definitely behind. However, with this gauntlet check, that is just, one extra ounce closer to catching up that could be what Junie needs. Unfortunately, at this point, there are very few additional places to save this much time in the run, barring complete disaster. Yep, I believe at this point, none of our runners have enough E-tanks for stand-up glitch. A little bit unfortunate. Yeah, so Baby Skip is one of the last major time saves that Junie could get over Rusty, although it can't make up all the time. Like, Rusty's like halfway through his Metroid rooms at this point. Yeah, absolutely. Rusty definitely is one of those people you always see grinding out this game, participating in all of these practice races and Varia weekly races. So it's really exciting to see him in the lead. Yeah, the Metroid's being a little bit mean on their luck, unfortunately. All right, is Rusty going for Baby Skip here? Did Rusty just go for Spring Ball Baby Skip? It was a very nice attempt. So Charge was at Ice and Plasma was at Speed Missiles, if I recall correctly. Yep, and Iron Rusty entering the refill station as Junie is going down into Turian. This has been an incredibly close race, and I think we've seen a really impressive performance from all of our runners involved. Unfortunately today, some runners made the right checks, some runners tried to finish the seed in the wrong order, and some runners made some skips that ended in disaster. Yep, and we do see the save here from Iron Rusty. Should have a very easy Zep skip. And plenty of ammo to be comfy. Oh, struggles a little bit with the Zep skip. Gets it second try though. Very nice. Yeah. Yeah, unfortunately, we as the viewers know that save very unlikely to do much for Rusty. Junie almost certainly less than one death behind. However, going into Mother Brain 2, Iron Rusty has 6 super missiles to spare. Ooh, some nice mid-air morphs there. That was some really neat technique. All right, and I think we have the results of our prediction now. So we did, in fact, see a baby skip. nice X-ray, Iron Rusty. All right, now Rusty just has to finish this out. Very nice. Really lovely to see all of Iron Rusty's work pay off. This dude, a pretty new runner to the scene. I want to say started sometime since quarantine began. So it's been really cool to see him improve like this. And as everybody is in various stages of finishing up this seed, this is a reminder to follow all 4 of our runners that have put on an incredible show for you today, as well as Redemption, figuring out race streaming, making everything work even when nothing wanted to work, Music for tracking all 4 runners, and I've been Glove on commentary. And really a testament to both of our runners here that we see both Iron Rusty and jooniejoone on Mother Brain at the same time. jooniejoone made an incredibly valiant effort to catch up. It unfortunately came down to that one check. And that's how SMRAT can be sometimes. Randomizers are the big equalizer. Yeah, I believe this will be putting Rusty in 2-0, assuming he's able to finish this out. And up on the top screen, we have Lomion finished up his Metroid rooms. Not attempting for baby skip, goes for baby skip. Without screw attack, that's a bit difficult. However, at least damages himself down a bit. It gets to my absolute favorite spot to get grabbed by the baby, floating in the midair. Unfortunately, facing left, going to lose a whole 35 frames to that. Yeah, somebody's saying in the chat it's possible that the Etikun skip was enough of a difference maker. With the ammo counts and all that, it's really hard to say. All right, and finishing up with an official SRL time of 1:04:42, your winner for this 4-way race, Iron Rusty, GG. This is honestly so exciting, and to have 3 of our runners in Turian at the same time is so cool. Alright, and we are joined by the winner of today's race, Iron Rusty. Iron Rusty, GG, congratulations.
Wow! I can't believe it. Junie was like 1 minute behind me. I can't believe it. I can't believe it. Oh man.
Yeah, it was a wild race to watch.
Wow, he must have done Suvis Meridia or something dumb.
Well, he did do something. He skipped top of wrecked ship and did not go back there until much later. Welcome, Junie. GG.
Hello.
Junie.
Rusty. Well
Junie,
done.
you didn't do the top of the wrecked ship.
No.
Oh no.
Sure didn't.
Oh man. They say that if you skip the top of the wrecked ship, you win an SMRAT. So, I thought you were gonna win.
That seems to be the case this season.
Oh, unbelievable. Unbelievable. I was watching that terrible race earlier where it was like, oh, don't you want to have like space jump in the sky, and then what was it, speed at like GT missile. I'm like, oh man, if we get something really dumb like that, I got no chance. But I got to do the top of the wrecked ship.
Yeah. So did you? So you went up, and were you just in go mode once you picked up the gravity suit?
Pretty
Other than
much.
ammo?
I didn't have ice. I went straight up, so I didn't know where ice or speed were until I went to Cray and got ice. I'm like, that's it. I just need ammo. So I kind of like peeked at some stuff and ran for it.
Nice. Nice. G,
That was
heck
dang
G.
close. Thank you. GG to you.
Yeah.
Yeah, and interestingly, Iron Rusty never picked up Charge Beam because that was at Ice Beam location.
Right. Yeah.
I
Yeah.
didn't
You know, I felt really good about my execution through this whole thing, so I'm not even a little bit upset. And I'm really happy for Rusty. So, like, this is, I felt real good about this race.
Well, anyone who's watched Junie's Tale knows I've lost to him 100 times at random. There's no reason I should win.
There is a reason you should win. I'm happy for you.
Thanks, man.
Played well.
What happened on the other side? Isn't there other people racing too?
Yes,
Well,
there
what's going
are.
on?
So LomionJones has just finished his Mother Brain 3 and he's entering Escape. Shadow, absolutely tragic. Shadow didn't check 230 missiles.
Oh, yeah.
I don't remember what was there.
Gravity.
Gravity.
Or, yeah, that's right.
Or Varia. Sorry, Varia.
Yeah,
Oh,
so I was
right.
thinking of a different
Oh,
one.
that's right. That's right.
Yeah. it was a
Yeah,
really
do
far
something.
Oof.
Yeah, so Shadow was wandering around a bit, unfortunately. However, he did just finish up his Dragon, so now he's just heading to Turian. Like,
So what
all
I'll-
things considered, for the number of route disparities we saw, all four runners have finished pretty close to each other.
Yeah. What all did Shadow do before finally going back to 230 missiles?
I mean, he went up Red Tower. I believe he checked Alpha and Beta, but he saved Wreck Ship for later. Did like Gauntlet, Criteria, Power Bombs. I think he went down and killed Kraid, checked Norfair. I don't know that it was last location, but it was pretty close.
That hurts.
Yeah.
GG Lomion.
Yep, and GG to Lomion. Junie finished with an official SRL time of 105.41, and Lomion with a time of 109.21.
Wow, thanks for the restream, you guys. I'm gonna have to watch this
Yeah.
one back later.
Absolutely. And now we're joined by LomionJones. LomionJones, GG, congrats on the win.
That's because I took that extra time in. It's because I did not check.
Lomion, if you are trying to speak right now, we can't. Oh,
Can you hear me now?
yes, we can.
Microphones work better when plugged in.
No, it would not need checking
Details, you know.
Yeah. It's the little things.
Yeah.
GG.
Yeah, that was quite a seed. I think I had 4 locations left when I checked when I finally got gravity.
Yeah, I believe of our 4 runners, you were the only one to go down Wreck Tower.
Wow, really?
Yeah.
Huh. I'm surprised.
So Shadow had the unfortunate luck of deciding to skip 230 missiles. So he was on Varia hunt for a while.
Ooh.
Yeah. So how are you feeling? Yeah. How are you
Pretty
feeling
good.
about the seat overall?
Yeah, obviously, it's always that question of up or down Red Tower, and today I went down. Yeah, I felt like I handled it pretty well. The execution was fine. I'm just glad it wasn't at Waterway or Climb Supers.
Yeah, well, congrats. So what made you decide to go down? Was it just, you see the Varia and the high jump and you're like, all right, I can clear Lower Norfair now?
Yeah. Let me think. When did we get? We didn't have speed yet. Speed was at high jump.
Yeah, I was at one of the high jump locations.
Yeah, so I was thinking about Wreck Ship Reserve and how I couldn't get to it yet.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I don't know. It's always just kind of a coin flip, I guess.
Yeah. Absolutely. Well, despite perhaps losing the coin flip, congrats on your match win.
Yeah, I'm definitely glad that being the 2-0 at this point, and be interesting to see who I face going forward.
Well, it won't be me.
Sadly. When I saw Rusty had finished, I thought, well, if I lose, I at least have that chance of losing again to Junie next week.
Maybe sometime in the future.
Yeah, we'll see. I'll be happy if I end up facing Rusty as well. So that was one advantage. I know whoever won either way. That's one person in the pool that I want to face next week.
There you go.
Mm-hmm.
So how was your run, Junie?
Oh, well, I went up Red Tower, but then skipped the top of the ship.
Oh,
So,
yeah.
So cleared everything else.
Okay.
And finally ran out of locations, so went back up.
Yeah.
And I still had waterway and climb supers left, so that was my next go-to if I didn't find it at the top of the ship. But then there it was.
Yeah, I had those two and Criteria Peeps. Those were the only things I think I didn't check outside of Meridia.
Yeah.
So I'm kind of curious, Junie, is there an item set that you could have had that would have led you to do Suitless Meridia?
Yeah, if I had grapple, I probably would have done it. Or spring ball. Well, I don't know. Spring ball would have required either a crab climb or a double spring ball jump. So I think I would, in SMRAT, in order for me to do Suitless Meridia, I'm probably going to need to have grapple. Just because any other possibility is just too slow and too inconsistent for me.
Right, yeah.
But yeah, I was thinking about it. I was thinking, okay, if I find grapple, I think I just go for it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I was really hoping for you to find grapple. I'm always ready to see a Suitless Meridia.
Yeah, do we know where grapple was?
I don't believe so. I didn't see it in the credits scroll. I wasn't paying attention.
I wasn't paying attention either. But I'm assuming it was somewhere in Meridia.
Yeah, it has a pretty high chance. I believe, before making any checks, grapple and spring ball each have a 20% chance of being in Meridia or something.
Really?
Yeah, so this logic can be a bit harsh towards Suitless Meridia, unfortunately.
That's funny.
All right. Well, I'm going to step out. Thanks so much for commentating. Thanks everybody in the background. Everybody's wonderful here. I love this community. And I'm going to watch Shadow finish up and let you finish up yourself.
Awesome. Yeah, well, GG's.
All right. Thank you.
Yeah, have a good night.
You too.
Yeah, ditto to what Junie just said. Big thanks, sir. I see we got the restream for Shadow sorted out eventually. So that's good.
Yeah, big shout outs to Redemption and the assist to Cheese Reaver, for figuring that out.
For sure. Yeah, thanks for commentating. I'm gonna dip out as well.
Yeah, thanks for running. GG's, congrats on your win once again.
GG.
All right, and we have Shadow finishing up his Mother Brain 2 right now. Damage is down, only has 3 tanks left, only has to get hit by the 1 Rainbow Beam. Unfortunately doesn't have that charge, so won't be going for stand-up, or did not go for stand-up glitch.
just needs to finish this one out, and absolutely lovely to see a finish from all 4 of our runners today. Be sure to follow all of them. Truly, they've put on a great show today. Be sure to follow them. Be sure to follow this channel for more SMRAT content. If I'm not mistaken, the next match we will see is tomorrow at 10 a.m. EST between Benergetic and Neaterific. That's one you won't want to miss. Alright, and just finishing up the Mother Brain 3 cutscene, the Mother Brain cutscene now, onto Mother Brain 3. Shadow just going for a shot of sort of standing back a bit, throwing in some jumps and gets a bit closer. Every little bit that you get to Mother Brain can reduce lag just a little bit, as the hyper beam is extremely laggy while it's on screen. So that's why you'll see some runners get right up close and personal in Mother Brain's face. However, that can be a difficult strat to correctly time. So I like the way that Shadow does it, sort of an in-between, where he gets as close as he can be while still being consistent and hitting all of his shots. Alright, and during the escape, Shadow just going through, dispatches of the Space Pirates, uses a couple hero shots, and unfortunately messes up the last moonfall in the game, loses a little bit of time to that, but no worries at all. Thankfully, with speed and high jump, and space jump in case things go wrong, escape is extremely cozy. Nothing to worry about, really. All right. And finishing up with an official SRL time of 1:19:36, our final racer, Shadow42085. GG, and congrats on the sub 120. A really impressive finish from all of our runners. And it looks like we will be getting an interview from him shortly. Yeah, this certainly wasn't a jet seed. Absolutely, Lomion. All right, and we are joined by Shadow. Shadow, GG's on the race.
Yeah, thank you very much. I think all in all, I would have had a much better time if I would have checked 230.
Yeah. I think that really did end up being the difference maker, unfortunately.
Yeah, if I would have checked there, that would have changed my route just a hair.
Mm-hmm.
I still would have had to go down and get speed booster. That did not really, because once I got space jump, I could go over to Bantoon, grab gravity, and went down to Ridley, then came up and did had a much better time if Dragon. I would have checked 230. That would have been my last fight. I mean, that was had everything else, but was missing charge, so it could have been anywhere in the game.
Yeah, charge was at Ice Beam location.
speed booster.
Oh.
Not really. That
Yeah.
was an okay check, but I didn't want to take the time to check that.
Yeah, absolutely. It's
Gravity,
pretty slow check, unfortunately.
They came up and did
All in all, I don't blame you for how you routed this seed at all, though. I think it really just came down to that 230 missile skip.
yeah.
Yeah. So obviously, this seed didn't pan out for you, but hopefully you'll have more luck and some better checks going forward.
Yeah. But still, this is still better than what my last I think my last race was. I think I was still like in the 120s or something like that for
Mm.
that race.
Yeah, you did come in at a sub 120, so that's really nice, especially with just the unfortunate luck you had.
Yeah, I mean, if I didn't have that unfortunate luck, it would definitely have saved the time, and definitely I did not check Shaft Super, but with the
Mhm.
iron that I had, it got me thinking. I mean, my last race, I had one of the seeds I played had grapple there, and since I didn't have space jump, that was my Fantoon access. Well,
Mhm.
logical Fantoon, because there are other
Right.
ways to get through there, but with what I had with that seed, I did not want to try to do that trick.
Right. Yeah, absolutely.
Alrighty.
Yeah. Um I think we're going to wrap up in just a moment. Anything else you would like to say?
Not at this time, except for just hope our go on are not in gross locations.
All right. Well, GG and best of luck on your future runs.
Yep. Thank you very much.
And be to the chat, be sure to follow all four of our runners today. Be sure to follow Redemption, who was on race streaming, Music, who was on tracking. I've been Glove on commentary, and we will all see you next mission.